This episode is brought to you by EFG Holding, a trailblazing financial institution with a universal bank in Egypt and the leading investment bank in the Middle East and North Africa.
Egypt, as a country and a society and a culture, belongs to several areas geographically, several societies, culturally, and in some of them, we were always leaders. In fact, in most of them, we were always leaders. We are an Arab country, so we have this Arab Society of Nations. We are part of it. And the bigger part of it, the majority of the population, Arab people, are Egyptians. We are African people. We are an African country. That is part of our identity. We belong to the continent. And so many things have been done in Africa with a lot of Egyptian contribution to the events in Africa. As I mentioned before, at the time of decolonization, the era of decolonization, Egypt helped a lot the revolutions in Africa and their struggle for independence. Egypt was very clear in its position against apartheid. Egypt was the country of refuge to many leaders. In fact, all of them
Absolutely.
passed by Cairo, by Egypt, in their journey from oblivion to the presidency and leadership. So this is another dimension of Egyptian identity. Then comes the Mediterranean.
Of course.
We are a Mediterranean country.
Of course.
That's why you have a lot of exchange, of interaction with European countries, European culture. So then we are part of the Muslim world. Then we are part of the South, Asia, Africa, Latin America.
We have many roles.
We have many roles, but we have many aspects that form the personality of Egypt. And the personality is not only just to exist, but how to contribute. And we were the most important contributor to developing the Arab societies, the Arab culture, the Arab knowledge, the Arab education, the Arab life. Egypt, in fact, contributed a lot to that. The soft power of Egypt also played an important role. You will recall Kulthum, you will recall Abdul Wahab, you will recall Ahmed Shawqi, the most famous poet, and others.
Naguib Mahfouz, the list is long.
I'm talking about the beginning, in the 30s, in
yes,
the 40s,
of course.
in the 50s, in
The
the
list
60s.
is long.
That came the Egyptian contribution, and then the Egyptian leadership, as
Of course.
was personalized in Gamal Abdel Nasser.
Of course.
And even when we came to liberate our territory from occupation, Anwar Sadat was also one of the big names in the history of Egypt. So that is how Egypt is.
Yes.
And the role was played firstly by the soft power of Egypt in the Arab world. Then in Africa was the support in the era of decolonization. Then in the Mediterranean, in the era of forming the future relations after the fall of the Soviet Union, after the end of the Cold War, where a lot of activities were centralized in the Mediterranean with a new policies of Euro-Arab dialogue, with the Euro, or the MENA conference, the MENA identity, that Middle East and North Africa. And that was very important. We consider this MENA is just a misnomer. This is the Arab world. This is the Arab world. And with us, there are others.
You had mentioned to me in a previous conversation that India was a very important post for you. And not necessarily because it furthered your career, but it was important to you. I'm assuming that being Minister of Foreign Affairs was also very important. Tell me a little bit just which of these major turning points were the most significant for you.
I wanted to go to India because I thought I spent too much time in the multilateral system. I want this bilateral. And I was, or a very tough choice was put before me. Should you go to be, I was the deputy ambassador in New York. So I was offered the job of chief ambassador in Geneva, the other capital of the international
of the
system.
UN. Yeah.
Or if you want and insist, you go to India. I wanted to go to India. And there were a kind of different opinions between the foreign minister, who was General Kamal Hassan Ali, who became prime minister after that, and Boutros Ghali, who insisted that I should go to Geneva. Of course, the minister prevailed over the minister of state. I went as ambassador to India. And Boutros Ghali made of me an example, telling everybody, you see, Amr Moussa had the chance to go to Geneva or wherever he wanted to go, but he chose India. So just to convince the young generation to make their choices after thinking of it and believing in what they want. So I went there. I enjoyed the India in general, the Indian society, the Indian people. They are funny, but they are intelligent. They are the same like us.
Yes.
If you compare if you ask an Indian a question and ask the Egyptian the same question, the answer will be the same. I enjoyed them.
Yes.
They are intellectuals.
Yes.
They are
And they have a very rich history, like
very
us.
friendly. They are generous. There is a certain, what can I say, certain relations between the Indian person and the Egyptian person.
Yes.
That's why
Yes.
I liked that.
Yes.
I spent 3 years to the day. So the foreign minister at that time, Dr. Abdul Majid, Allah yarhamu, told me that we are ready to give you 1 more year. And I was at the height of my pleasure in India, knowing everybody, moving all over India. The children were at schools, good schools.
You were happy there.
Very happy.
Yes.
And I decided to put an end to that. Dr. Abdul Majid was astonished. So ambassadors usually to say, yes, of course, 1 more year is fine, especially if the post is
exciting.
Exciting. So I said, no. He told me, why? He said, because if I stay 1 more year, I'll be spoiled.
And I'll never want to leave.
Yes, I will come after that year asking you to add
Yes.
a 5th year.
Yes.
So sorry,
Yes.
I have to
That's very funny.
put it to put this fine experience to an end.
What is your legacy? You look back, what is your legacy?
Well, I hope that my years as foreign minister, especially with the changes I decided and I really put them into effect in the system, in the diplomatic system, be one of the basic elements of legacy, my legacy. This is one. Number 2, my work in the multilateral system, that I discovered that it is not forgotten at all by so many generations. Until now, many high officials, I would say even presidents in several countries, still when I go to them and just to say hello, they come and say, no, stay, you have contributed to
such a wonderful
such
feeling. Wonderful feeling.
Yes. And my days in the Arab League were also days of more rapprochement and understanding among Arab countries' governments. And we succeeded in doing that. And of course, not the first day, it took us time. But my second term as Secretary General of the League was marked with this rapprochement and understanding that it is good to have a strong Secretary General than putting obstacles in his place.
Of course.
the some were laughing at that time, saying that the Arab League has become 23 members because the 22 countries and the Secretary General as member also.